Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. The tier lists are back. This was obviously a really big staple of my channel during the past offseason, during the regular seasons of the LCS, the LEC, all that stuff. They would get a ton of views. It seemed like they got a lot of support. It seemed like people really did enjoy them. I put out a poll asking if you guys think I should do an MSI lane tier list, and this is actually much harder to do. It takes much longer in terms of research and preparing all this stuff and everything, comparing players across regions, and it's going to be way more different from person to person. There's going to be way more stuff that people think I get right and wrong, but I decided to try it out. Today we are going to be going through the 11 top laners that are going to be attending MSI, giving my thoughts and opinions on them, how they stack up against one another, and rating them S tier through F tier, finding out who's the best of the best, worst of the worst, whatever. So you guys have a little bit better idea of who all these players are, how well they're doing, and how they should stack up headed into this tournament. But I hope to get your guys' thoughts and opinions as well. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second to smash that like button. These videos do take, like I said, a lot longer, so I would definitely appreciate that positive feedback and that support on these. If we get good feedback, if we get good support, I'll for sure do the rest of the positions at MSI, comparing all of them. But if this video doesn't do as well, honestly, I probably won't do the rest of them, because this does take longer than my usual videos, and if it's going to do worse than my usual videos, it wouldn't make sense to put all that time into it. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, so you guys don't miss out on anything we got going on in the future. With that being said, let's get right into this. So there are 11 top laners headed to MSI, 12 teams qualified. Gigabyte Marines will not be there, so we're left with 11. But you will see right here, with some quick math, we have 10 pictures. That is because BugX, the top laner for Infinity Esports, I could not get a picture of him to work. I tried 3 different pictures that he has on like Leaguepedia. None of them were PNGs, none of them would show up, so we're going to be rocking with 10 people. Sorry to Infinity fans, sorry to BugX, but, you know, your picture didn't cut it, so you're not on here, but we'll still talk about him. So, starting off this tier list, starting at F, working our way up to S, I want to start out at the bottom, who I think I'm going to be considering the weakest top laner of this group headed into the tournament. I'm going to be starting off with Robo. This is the Pain Gaming CB LOL representative top laner. This guy, we have seen him, I believe, once internationally, yes, in Worlds of 2019, where he did finish off that tournament with a 1.67 KDA, so I was obviously not too impressed or excited about that. Yes, that was 2 years ago. Yes, people can grow. Yes, people can improve. He was coming off not a super great regular season in the CB LOL either with Pain Gaming. Obviously, they finished 5th place in the regular season, so you don't expect people to have too many crazy, exciting stats or anything like that. But overall, just looking at historical results, looking at the regular seasons, looking at, you know, what I'm thinking about these top laners coming into the tournament, I consider Robo to be one of the weakest. He's an F tier for me for sure. Next up, the man who's not pictured, I'm going to be, you know, dragging BugX into the F tier as well. I do consider him one of the weaker top laners at this tournament. We've seen him twice internationally. This was Worlds 2019, where I believe he did have a 2.24 KDA, so, you know, a little bit better. That same Worlds having a little bit better stats. Not that KDA is end-all be-all, not that stats are the end-all be-all, but, you know, just kind of some frame of reference there. MSI 2019, a 1.58 KDA. In the other time we saw BugX participating in an international event. So again, nothing too crazy exciting there. No huge pop-off performances. A little bit solid, a little bit more decent. Overall, I still consider him one of the weaker top laners coming into this. Yeah, not too hyped up, not too excited, and his picture didn't work, so he's tilting me. Yeah, that's going to be an F tier. We got a couple more in the F tier, though. Don't worry. Next up is Evi, or Evie, or Evie for Detonation Focus Me. We have seen this guy one time internationally as well. He had a 2.0 KDA in Worlds 2019. He is the top laner for Detonation Focus Me in the LJL. Overall, I think he's decent. Like I said, 2.0 KDA. He had a solid performance. During the regular season for Detonation Focus Me, I wasn't too crazy impressed with the little bits I saw of him, taking a look at the stats, match history, all of that. You know, I don't think he like dominated the LJL or anything by any means. I don't think he's going to be coming into MSI dominating. I think LJL is one of the weaker regions already. So to me, he is an F tier. So we'll knock that one out too. And then finally, the last F tier top laner, I do consider this guy, in my opinion, from what I have seen in my research, to be the strongest of these F tier top laners. However, is going to be Panther for Pentanet.gg. This is in the LCO, the Oceanic League. He had something crazy, like a 7 KDA during the regular season for Pentanet. You know, he seemed like he had a very, very dominant split. He seems like he's coming into this tournament hot. I do consider the LCO one of the weaker leagues, so I take those stats. I take the performances with a grain of salt for sure. We have seen this guy one time internationally. I believe it was a 1.75 KDA. I can't remember what. It was at one of the Worlds, I'm pretty sure. So again, nothing too crazy. I believe that was in 2019. He's had some time to grow. He's had some time to improve, and we'll see how good he's able to fare at this MSI competition. But I think, you know, a really, really good performing top laner from one of the weaker regions. You know, top of the F tier, maybe a low C tier. I wouldn't argue with you too much, but to me, that's still got to be an F tier until I see, you know, something different from him on the international stage. So now we're getting into the C tier. For me, next up, Unicorns of Love, we have Boss in the C tier. This is a guy who we have seen internationally a couple times. We've seen him at Worlds with Unicorns of Love. You know, they've been a staple the last couple of years. 2020 Worlds, 2.0 KDA in the top lane. 2019 Worlds, he had a 2.65. So that's a little bit better. You know, we're seeing some improvement in the overall stat lines and stuff. Obviously, Unicorns of Love has had some decent international performances as well at those two Worlds. Boss, I think overall in the CIS League had a decent regular season, a decent regular split. I think he is a very solid top laner. I've gotten to see him perform at Worlds multiple times. You know, I remember him. I have some recollection of him. That must mean something. That's got to be at least a C tier for me. I do think Boss is going to come into this tournament being decent. I think he can stack up with a lot of these top laners in this league, to where some of the F tier guys I think are kind of going to get rolled. There's going to be a lot of top diff going on. I could see Boss, you know, holding his own, maybe winning a lane phase, maybe, you know, having a decent game here and there. And I do think Unicorns of Love is going to have an overall pretty decent performance at this tournament. I don't think Boss is like, you know, the focal point of UOL or anything like that by any means, but to me, he is a solid C tier top laner. Next up in the top of the C tier for the Istanbul Wildcats, I have Starscream. This guy, he's actually really, really solid. We have not actually seen him at an international event before, so that is kind of what's keeping him out of the B tier for me. But this guy was very, very good in the TCL. This guy has been very, very solid for the Istanbul Wildcats, and the TCL is honestly a pretty solid region overall. They always have a couple decent players. They always have a couple different guys that are going to go into the international stage and perform and be exciting and surprise people. I think Starscream could be that guy this year again. I want to put him in the B tier. He's kind of tempting me, but without any international experience prior, which I don't believe, maybe I missed something, but I don't think we've seen this guy internationally before. You know, doing well in TCL, putting up those stats in the Turkish League, that is good. That's going to put you on some people's radars, but he does need to have a good performance for me, whether it be MSI, Worlds, whatever, for me to really give him that stamp of approval, especially not playing in a major region. It's just going to be very, very difficult for me. But overall, I do think he's solid. I think he can be very, very good, and of kind of the minor regions, I definitely see him as one of the best top laners that we're going to see at this tournament from those regions, from those teams. Now we're getting into the top 5. We're getting into the B tier now. In the B tier, I have Mr. Fudge for Cloud9. This guy has had a crazy up and down year. We have seen this guy internationally before for Mammoth in the Oceanic League. He had a 1.93 KDA in 2019. I believe he was 17 years old at the time. So, you know, he's had a lot of time to grow, a lot of time to improve. Obviously spent some time in the LCS Academy. He was probably the best top laner, probably the best player in the LCS Academy. Comes up to Cloud9, wins the split in his very first split with his team. Yes, he is on a stacked Cloud9 roster. Yes, early on in the season, he definitely looked like the very, very weak point of this roster, the very, very exploitable position. And even now, he's definitely still the weakest point. When you look at that Cloud9 roster, they're absolutely loaded at pretty much every other position. But they found a way to play around Fudge, and Fudge found a way to provide for the team, to exist in this team. You know, he performs his role pretty well. He plays a lot of weak side. Sometimes they send a lot of resources up to him with a lot of ganks and stuff to kind of protect him and everything. And yeah, it's interesting. I think this guy, I assume he's grown a lot in these last 2 years. I think he's going to come out and have a decent international performance. I think he is going to be stronger than a lot of these emerging region top laners. I don't know if he's really going to be able to hold his own up against, you know, guys like Zahu, like Khan from some of the big regions and stuff like that. But overall, this guy's had tremendous growth throughout the whole season. I think MSI is going to be an awesome, awesome experience for him and a great learning opportunity for a very, very young player who's shown a ton of promise, a ton of talent. Even though he hasn't put it all together yet, he still has a lot going for him, and Cloud9 really uses him very, very effectively, even if he is maybe not the strongest player right now individually. But I do have him in the B tier. He is my only top laner in the B tier. Moving on up to the A tier, I have Hanabi for PSG Talon. This guy is a beast. I believe, yeah, we have seen this guy one time internationally, 2019 Worlds, and he did very well, a 3.04 KDA at that tournament. Obviously, PSG Talon has had some nice international results. They have been a scary team. They've shown what they can do, and Hanabi has been a big part of that. This guy dominated his league in the regular season. He's coming into MSI very, very hot on a team that people are honestly pretty scared of. It does suck that they're going to be without their starting AD carry, obviously with Doggo coming in, but Hanabi is going to be a big reason for why PSG Talon either has success or has lack thereof in this tournament. How he can stand up against some of the other top laners in the world, how well he can stand up in lane, out of lane, in team fights, all of that stuff. PSG Talon, you know, they have a very, very nice top laner in Hanabi, and we're going to see just what he can do and how he can help his team win. I'm very, very excited to watch this guy, though. I think he's going to be good. Next up in the A tier, we have Armut for Mad Lions. Now, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Armut. I've actually been pretty critical of him throughout the split in the LEC, in the top lane for Mad Lions, especially during the regular season when he was pretty up and down. He'd have some random ints. He'd had some terrible lane phases. He'd had some huge CS deficits, but this guy has a knack for finding his way back into the game. No matter how poorly lane phase goes, no matter how much his team is down, this guy's just a play maker. He is always in the right place in the right time, in mid game, in late game. He's making plays to help his team. He's honestly not bad in lane either. It's just I did notice some really, really random and weird games from him here and there, and Mad Lions struggled in the regular season overall, but in the playoffs he was much better. Overall he stepped up, and at this tournament I do think he's going to be one of the strongest top laners. Overall I think the top lane pool is honestly kind of weak this year. You know, like Armut's the LEC representative, Fudge is the LCS representative. Overall, this is one of the weaker top lane pools we've seen at MSI probably in quite a while, but I do think Armut is top of the A tier from the guys that we do have going, and I think he'll do very, very well. Overall, I think he should have a good tournament. I don't see any reason why not. At number 2 for me in the S tier is Khan. I have Khan for Damwon Gaming at number 2. This guy is very, very talented. We know him. He's been around the LCK and the LPL for quite some time. He was on FPX last year, had a very, very good season, moved on over to Damwon Gaming Kia, and he's been a beast for them. He's been great. He does exactly what they need him to do. You know, that weak side tank player, an absolute monster at it, so consistent. He's always going to be there. He's always going to be helping his team out. And Damwon Gaming has enough carries. They have enough huge playmakers. Khan plays a role, and he plays it damn well for Damwon Gaming Kia. He's going to be very, very scary. He's going to be a very difficult top laner for other guys, for, you know, some of these other regions top laners to get leads against, to create anything, to make plays off of. Khan's always in the right place at the right time, always making big plays. Just an absolute savvy veteran who's been there, done everything. He's a beast. Easy S tier. But for me, who I have as the number 1 top laner coming into this tournament, the top laner for RNG, this is Zahu. This guy has been a long time mid laner for RNG, now role swapping up into the top lane, and he is bringing that crazy playmaking potential with him up to the top lane. This guy, you know, he can play a bunch of different things. He can play very, very aggressive. He can play crazy. He can be a carry for this RNG team. They can absolutely play through top lane, and I think that some of these weaker top laners, some of these emerging region top laners are going to have a bad time going up against Zahu. You know, obviously he doesn't have the great experience in the years and years and years and tournaments of playing top lane like a guy like Khan does, but he's getting there. This MSI is going to be a great experience for him. I think he's been an absolute beast for RNG this whole season. I think he's going to be a monster coming in this tournament. I think he's really going to wreak a ton of havoc up in the top lane, and that is why he is my number 1 pick. But that is it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I would definitely appreciate if you dropped a like on this video. I'm trying to get as much support on as we can on these, because again, this took a long time to do. This is not easy, researching 11 different regions, 11 different players, 11 different backgrounds. Even just pulling up the pictures for all 11 guys takes some time. So every like, every comment, everything is appreciated. Leave a comment down below. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? What does your top lane tier list look like? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!